Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video today. And today we're going to be doing my Premier League predictions. And yeah, if you're new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like video if you do indeed like video. And let's get straight into it. So yeah, it went down pretty well last year, and I'm back to do it again. Already done my Championship predictions, so go watch that if you haven't watched that already. And yeah, let's get into the Premier League ones. So starting off in 20th position. I'm kind of gonna go against what people are saying, and I'm gonna say Brentford. I think they haven't got the strongest of squad. They have still got Ivan Toney, but they have sold a few players, and they haven't really bought anybody of too big a note, from what I can remember at least. And I think they're just not gonna be able to compete, and it's their first time in the Prem. But they may do a Leeds, but I don't really know really. But I think they're going to go down in 20th position. I know I might get a bit of stick for saying that, but, you know, it's just what I think. Moving on to my 19th position, I'm going to go with Watford. I know they have made some good signings, and they have got a decent squad, with the likes of Saab being probably their best player, or one of their best players. I still think they're going to go down, though, and I think it will just be similar to what happened the last time they came up. They just not being good enough and not being able to score enough goals, and then just go down. But yeah, another season maybe being yo-yo for them as well, but I don't know. And then moving on to my 18th position, I've gone with Norwich, meaning that I'm saying that every club that's got promoted is going down. I know it's a bit boring, but I just feel like the clubs that are in the Prem at the moment are going to be hard to have a new club come up and then send them down. So yeah, that's why I think that Norwich is going to go down. They have made some good business, but they have also got rid of the likes of Buendia and some maybe somebody else from what I can remember. I can't really remember. I know they signed was it Sargent and Berisha? I think that's who they've signed. But they've signed some good players, but yeah, not quite enough, I don't think, to keep them up. And I think they are going to go just about down in 18th. Moving on to my 17th position prediction, I think it's going to be Newcastle. I think they haven't really signed anybody of too big a note. They are seemingly getting Willock, who did do very well for them last season. I think they're going to just have another average really season. Well, not a great season again, but, you know, just about enough to keep them up. And yeah, it's just another similar season to last season for them. Moving on to my 16th position prediction. I've gone with Brighton. I don't think they have that good of a squad. They are seemingly linked to by some sort of striker. I can't remember who it was. But I still think they don't have a strong enough squad to keep them, or to get them any higher than that. So I think 16th is about fair and about normal for them. And I mean, it's alright, I guess, but at least they're staying up. Moving on to my 15th position, I've gone with Southampton. They were doing really well at the start of last season, and they were pushing very high, but their form dropped a lot, and they didn't look too great come the end of last season. And so I've put them 15th, which is still alright, but not great. And they have gotten rid of the likes of Danny Ings. They have replaced him with Adam Armstrong, but they did that with Shay Adams before. And he didn't really have a great start to the season when he first joined from Birmingham. But maybe he'll do well. I hope he does well. But yeah, I think 15th is about fair for them this season. Moving on to my 14th position, I've gone with Burnley. I think they're going to have a bit stronger of a season than last season. They do just need to sign some players. I don't know. I still don't really see them signing many players. So I still think the board's got somewhat of a problem with Sean Dyche or something. But I feel like if Sean Dyche finishes around 14th, then he'll get some more backing at some point. And yeah, but they're going to have to hope that injuries don't mess them up again and stuff like that. But if they play that they can play, then they could get 14th, and I think they could have a better season. Moving on to my 13th position, I've gone with Everton. I don't think they're going to have a great season. They have lost Ancelotti. They haven't had the best of pre-season, and they haven't really got too much of a push as they did last season. And I don't know what's going to happen with them. They have got a good manager, but I don't think that's going to be enough. And they just haven't really seemed too convincing recently from what I've seen of them. And I think they are going to just get 13th. Which, I mean, is still, I guess it's okay, but it's nothing what they really want. Moving on to my 12th position now, I've gone with Wolverhampton. I think they are going to have an alright season. I mean, they'll have Raul Jimenez back, but they haven't got the same manager. They got somebody different, so that might be different for them. I don't know if Raul Jimenez is going to play the same after what's happened with him. And they got some players in. I think they got Trincao on loan, which is a big one. But I still don't think their squad is good enough to get any higher than that this season, and they might still be selling some more players, but I don't know with that at the moment. But yeah, I don't think their squad is strong enough to push any higher than 12th this season, which is still fair. Moving on to my 11th position, I've gone with Crystal Palace. I think some people have been saying they weren't going to do well, or to come the end of last season they said they weren't going to do well. But I still think they got it in them to do somewhat good, and they're going to get 11th, I think. And I think that's fair. I think that is fair. But I mean, they have signed some good players as well. They have done well in the transfer market. It'd just be interesting to see how Vieira does as a manager. Moving on to my 10th position now, I've gone with West Ham. I think they won't have as good a season as last season because that was just, I think, a one-off for them really. But they'll still be better than what they were before, and I think 10th is fair for them as long as they keep playing the way that they have been playing. Coming the end of last season, I think they can get 10th, and that will be decent for them. Moving on to my 9th position now, I've gone with Leeds. I think Leeds are going to have another good season. Not as amazingly good, but still 9th is very good. And I think they definitely do have a good enough squad to do that. They haven't really bought anybody big off the top of my head, but I still think 9th is going to be fair for them. Not quite getting Europa League yet, or Conference League, but maybe pushing soon come next season. Moving on to my 8th position now, I've gone with Aston Villa. Some people have been predicting them to get Europa League or Conference League, but I think 8th is about fair for them. They have lost the likes of Jack Grealish, but they have replaced him well with Bailey, who was good in Bundesliga, but it will be interesting to see if he can prove himself in the Prem. And Danny Ings, who has obviously proved himself in the Prem, but did flop last time he was at somewhat of a big club with Liverpool because of injuries and that. But it will be interesting to see what happens with them. And I think they can do well and get 8th, but not quite good enough to get Conference League yet, which I believe is 7th or 6th, one of them two. Moving on to my 7th position, I've gone with Arsenal. I think it'll be another meh season really for them. They're really not as good as they used to be, and it's just going to be another season where they'll probably end up losing to some bad teams and then just get mocked a lot. But I think 7th is about fair for them. It will be interesting to see if they can get any good goal scorer, which is probably what they need at the moment. But yeah, it will be interesting to see what happens with that. Moving on to my number 6 spot now, I've gone with Spurs. They are possibly still losing Kane. I don't know what's happening with that, but they maybe bring in Martinez, which would be an interesting signing. Interesting to see if he can do it in the Prem. They have brought in some good players like the likes of Romero at centre back, and I think they'll be stronger than last season, but still not too much better, and get 6th, which I think is fair really. But if they keep going the way they're going, maybe they can push up the table for next season. Moving on to my 5th position now, I've gone with Leicester. Yes, I think Leicester are going to miss out on Champions League again, but only just. They have made some good signings in the likes of Daka, and they signed Bertrand, which I know is not great, and then they signed somebody else, but I can't remember off the top of my head. But they have done some good business. Oh, they signed Berardi, I think. I don't know if that's gone through or not, but yeah, I think they're going to have a good season again, but not quite enough, and then just flop it at the end, really. And then just miss out on Champions League. But yeah, I think it'll be another Europa League year for them. Moving on to my top 4 now, Champions League spots. I've gone with 4th, I've gone with Chelsea. I think they'll do well with getting Lukaku as well. I think they'll do well with him. Hopefully he can come back and have some good form for the Premier League, returning to his old club. But I don't think it'll be quite enough to get him higher than 4th really. And maybe if they keep making some good signings, and they'll get higher, but they just need to not make any big signings that flop again. But yeah, I think 4th is about fair for them. Moving on to my 3rd position, I've gone with Liverpool. I think Liverpool have got a good squad, and Konate hopefully will do well, and they have got Van Dijk back, but I still think that the top 2 will be better than them just about, and I think Liverpool will be about 3rd, which is, I believe, where they finished last season from what I can remember. But yeah, 3rd for them. Moving on to my top 2, Man United is my 2nd spot, and so you can kind of guess who's my 3rd spot. But Man United, they have really strengthened, they have really strengthened with the signing of Sancho, and maybe still getting Varane. I don't know what's happening with that, but they do look strong up front now, and with Sancho, it means they can have some kind of rotation because players were getting tired without having any rotation when it come later on in the season. But I think they'll have another good season and get second, maybe get a bit closer to Man City, but not quite. Well, like I just said, Man City is my first position. I think they're going to have a really good season. Yes, they haven't really got a clinical striker, but they didn't really play with a striker properly last season for a lot of it. But I think they'll have another very good season. Grealish will be interesting to see how well he does, but even if he doesn't do great, they still have very good players around him, and I think they'll just be too much for the Man Uniteds and the Liverpools and the Chelseas, and they'll have another good season. But yeah, that is it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. Comment down below what your thoughts on my predictions are and what are your predictions. And yeah, like the video if you did like the video, and thanks for watching.